That's me all the time. I'll be doing this, over here, go over there.
Can I see your phone?
Yep. Would that be AADHD?
Yeah, I guess
That's it.
well, if I classify it.
Just talk into there.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
Just
Is that like Donald Trump?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
In the way so
This week over, and he got out of his mind. He was dancing with a.
try it again, Carol. Try it again.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
What, you hear about the guy that jumps off the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Don. We're at the Town of Western Civic Affairs. We're going to be starting the meeting here in about 20 minutes. We have Dave Schallenberg here. We have Pete Donahue on the other side of him. Let me make sure we've got Pete Donahue here. Yes. So this gentleman here is Pete Donahue. And I have to go through this with you folks because we've asked the town board here to make sure that everyone in the audience knows who's sitting at the table and who is who. But the town refuses to do that for us. They will not say who is who at this table. So really it's up to the people in the audience to guess who all of these folks are at the table. So I'm going to go through that with you again. This is Pete Donahue on this side here. This is Dave Schallenberg. That is Lynn Charney over here. This is Larry Merrick right here. The town clerk is Melissa Rowland. She isn't at the table. The attorney is also not at the table. And the town supervisor is not at the table. This person walking in now is the assessor in the town. So, as you folks are aware, in the last month and a half, we've been asking the board what's going on with the budget. Why do we not have a budget? Why are you late with the budget? Well, at the last minute, that was snuck onto the Towpath website. So, before I left, I did check that out. That is on the website for folks to see. The issue is when you have folks in a dirty town that want to play dirty, the kinds of dirty things they will do is what you've just seen. They won't hold the deliberations for the budget in view of the public. They won't do that in view of the public. What they'll do is they will mitigate that by making sure that they never have a quorum together while they're working on that budget. Because if they have a quorum together, then it has to be a public meeting. So what they've done is they've gone about this process and scheduled 2 or so people together at any given time to cover that budget. Not having a quorum together in order to manage that budget. So what they can actually do then is they can put that budget together and say there was never a quorum together discussing the budget. And that way, the people will never see what's on the budget until they post it online, which they recently did, and then no one will talk about that budget, no questions. There will be nothing about that budget except for the 3 minutes that each person has at the budget public hearing in 3 weeks. So basically what they've done is left the people out of the deliberations of this entire budget. So your 1.29 or 1.3 or 1.5% budget increase that you're going to see this year in your taxes, you didn't know that was coming. It was a total surprise. Not only that, but you weren't able to write to the town board members or call the town board members or meet with the town board members and discuss your concern about that increase in your taxes this year. Why weren't you able to do that? Because nobody knew there was going to be a 1.2 or a 1.3 or 1.5% increase in your budget till they posted it online very, very recently. So dirty towns doing dirty things because they're dirty. That's what's happening here with this town board. So the meeting's going to start in about 15 minutes, and they're red hot. They're red hot because I'm talking to you about stuff that they know they've done, and they're burning up. So what we're going to do here, we're going to sit down. We're going to let the next few minutes go by. We're going to see what happens, see what kind of response we get from those folks, and then we'll continue with the meeting.
No, he hasn't gone totally crazy yet.
Hi, Steve. How are you, Joe?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
That's what we all asked.
So how'd the barn fest go this year?
Very good.
That's good.
Beautiful weather, cool
Yeah,
days.
you were lucky.
So do you have, I see that your budget got increased for the library.
The town, I haven't looked up the town board budget. Is that?
Well, they just posted it. You will not have seen it before today. They snuck it in real fast. So,
I would have to look it up. So
yeah, look it up so you'll see what you got. Because they're not talking. They're not telling. They didn't even tell you got a budget increase. How about that?
I guess I thought today was a budget meeting where
No. That's 3 weeks. But they won't tell you that either. It's online, but they won't. Now, so you can see they're smiling
Yes, I did.
because they think this is a big joke. And this is the town of Western. These are tax-paying people here. This is no
Basically,
joke.
Don, what you're
Okay,
saying is not
no
really
joke
true.
whatsoever.
So, we're
So
not
now
really
we got
smiling,
a
we're
response
laughing
from
at
them.
you.
Let's go with
And
it.
my name, yeah, sure. It's, you know, you can spread lies and stuff.
This milk looks exceptionally long. I know.
Hi, Len.
Hi, Don.
So this is the attorney walking in right now. He's the one that's going to be leaving in December 31st. We don't know if the town's got a new attorney. We believe they have because they've increased the cost for the attorney fees from $10,000 or so to $20,000 for next year, and that's a part of that increase in the budget. Hi. Good.
Did you want to copy of the budget?
I forget what the supervisor's name is. Hannah what? Thank you. So at the table here again, we have David Schallenberg. Next to him, we have Pete Donahue.
Looking for it.
Walking past us now is Anna Riddell Weaver.
How's that going?
The attorney over here, Lynn Charney, and Larry Merrick here in the end. So we have everyone except Melissa Rowland. Rowland's here for the meeting. It's going to start in about 11 minutes. This is the entire board that withheld the budget from the people, the deliberations of the budget from the people for over a month or two, depending on how long they've been working on it. We don't know how long they've been working on it, but they have been working on it because they just posted it online for us to see. And we did take some numbers. We do have that posted on Facebook as well. It's 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 increase, whatever it is. And they'll say I'm wrong because it's one of those, but I may not be exact. Yeah, these are the folks that met separately, one or two people at a time, not the entire quorum, because if they had a quorum, that would be a meeting, that public meeting, and they would have had to expose what they're doing to the people. But they did not have a quorum. They met two at a time for 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 hours. Can you imagine the amount of work it took to get everybody to meet everybody for a couple of hours together? That musical chair of meeting different people on different nights and discussing different things and emails and texts and, what do you think about this and do we need to increase that? All of that happened without forming a quorum. That's what these folks did for you. They left you out of the picture because they don't care about you.
Sort of reopened it and then.
No,
At this point, I think we have somebody who can study, but which makes it the whole thing would be such a.
Based on having it there, it's a significant income stream.
Yeah, it is, it really helps, especially
Oh, yeah. Can you do a test again?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
Your brother said the other morning, early, you said the wipers were closed to the windshield.
That's lazy, bro. It really is.
Why is it always like this? No. I'm sorry if I'm like over the top, but they posted this budget like 5 minutes before the meeting started. And I'm just freaking.
You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize.
But it's been averaging out. Warm.
That's just.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's all family. Hunter fundraiser.
Do you live in
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, just danger road. Finally, I'm happy with that.
That was wrong.
Yeah, that was, well, should do that a long time ago.
Yeah, when it would, that's the end of October, November.
It is October 24th.
That's right around next week. Wow.
Last time of year, they should have been here.
Yeah.
Some people are just starting, and other people are halfway through.
We just took our boat around this one for one term. And might have to fight with the weather. Yeah. Other years we waited around that curve.
I used to keep mine against the around the bumpy down the season. Then when my son was killed, I got busy, he got busy. I don't know why. They don't play like doing it. Ultimately, I can see what's still
The Yankees are small.
just efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got one too. Real book. Yeah, get to see him fast.
Yes, I've seen baseball. No, something different.
You can do something.
I just want my rights.
Yep.
I've been watching the WNBA. That's been kind of interesting.
You know, I'm just gonna hold on to it. So this is Melissa Brolin. She just came to the table. She was in the back just doing some additional stuff. She's the clerk. She's also the records access manager for the town of Western. That is, if you bring forward and you want any record that you can think of that the town wants, you're allowed to ask for it, as long as it doesn't interfere with someone else's privacy. Or with someone else's medical issues or something like that. But what we've seen from this town with respect to medical issues, they could care less. There was an issue with someone filed an ADA complaint to have a speaker system put in. And what they did was they interviewed that person in the middle of the town board, exposing his personal medical details to the public. So these folks could care less about personal medical information for anybody in the town. But if you want to FOIA any personal medical information, they will not give it to you. They will say that you can't have it because it's private. So you see how the town board doesn't want to play fair, just doesn't play fair. Dirty town, dirty things.
That's great. I'll take it. Yeah. I got my garlic burger. I'm happy. Got the.
You can see these folks laughing, Jim giggling, the attorney, Lynn China's giggling, got Pete Donahue's giggling. They think this is funny. They really think this is a great comedy show. When it's the people of Western that they're laughing at. They're laughing at you. They're giggling at you. They hold your rights in your hands. And they're laughing out loud in your face as we sit here in this meeting. They think this is a joke. This is not a joke. I know what the town of Western is concerned about redress. Those people being responsible to their public interest.
Oh, okay.
That may not be so far from the
Taken to the hospital, back over to Syracuse. So we look at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that with people. Right now,
For those of you interested, check out the website right now. Check out that budget increase. Tax increase you're going to see coming your way. Okay? If they can't cover it with anything else, they're going to hit you with a tax increase. So there are lots of discrepancies. There's lots of issues. We have a fire department that just made $300,000 a year, every year, of a rental on that helicopter pad they got. They're jacking it up. They're jacking your taxes up next year. Don't believe it? Check the budget out. We've got highway department. Highway department got brand new trucks, 2 or 3 of them, right? No maintenance, no maintenance. Oil changes. They don't have to replace tires. They don't have to replace anything. They're getting a budget increase. Why? Any money that goes into their account should be going into a savings account to pay for new trucks so that we don't have to maintain used trucks and we can trade them in and get an exceptionally good resale value return and trade-in value for those vehicles. They won't do that. They'll take that money and they'll spend it somewhere else. They're going to make things beautiful for you in the town of Western. And when it comes time to buy 3 or 4 more trucks in 3 or 4 years, you're going to pay out the nose because they're not saving any money. Yeah, it's like, do we need an increase? Do we need it? I don't know. Why don't we do something with the properties in the town that aren't being used? Why don't we sell them? Why don't we rent them? Why don't we make money off of those things so that we don't have to increase your taxes and my taxes? Town will look at that. We're going to be starting meetings.
Yes.
It's down an 80-foot hill across the 20-foot canal.
Good evening, everyone. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start tonight's meeting, I want to go over the public access meetings for the town of Western and remind individuals that in order to operate equipment, photograph, record, or broadcast, it needs to be in a place that is permitted, handheld in the audience, and wherever you're recording, please stay with your recording equipment in case there's a malfunction. We ask that there be no wandering back and forth during the meetings. This is a small area and people have found it disruptive. So you need to remain with your equipment. And only one recording device per person. And I said that about that. Persons operating equipment necessary to photograph, record, and/or broadcast shall be given a reasonable opportunity to modify their actions in order to avoid interference with the deliberate process. And recording should cease at the end of our meetings. People who are in the audience have a right to visit with each other without it being recorded. Thank you. We'll start with our first piece of business tonight was a continuation of the with Mr. Morey and his home with the codes. And Mr. Morey was served a letter to appear tonight to see what progress he had been making. I don't believe he has arrived, so we'll proceed with our next step with this, which I believe will be soliciting bids for the town to remove the building. at this point, it's condemned, so. And he hasn't sold it, nor has he made any further progress with it. So that will be our next step at this point, is to make a motion to solicit bids to tear down.
I think,
No,
Go ahead.
well, part of that process will probably require an asbestos review.
Mhm.
right,
And so, because it's private property, how would that happen?
Well, it would happen by motion of the board. So what I think would be an appropriate next step as well would be to send him another letter, just noting that we held the hearing today, or we called for the hearing today, and that he defaulted in appearing. We can note for the record that he was served by the Utica City Marshal on September 27th at 8:07 a.m. And that he defaulted and failed to appear, and that we're going to proceed with plans to get bids for demolishing the building and hold him responsible for the cost.
So you're just gonna lien the property, is that what you do?
We can do, it can be done, I believe, I'm not 100% familiar with the new statute, but I believe, if I read it correctly, we can either add it to his taxes, which probably doesn't do any good. All right.
there.
he just. Hi, Mr. Moore.
Hi.
We were just talking about what would occur if you hadn't showed up, so you're here tonight. Have you made any progress with selling it, or?
I guess somewhat. I've had a lot of phone calls. I mean, I can't tell you the level of interest because some people I've talked to 2 or 3 times, some people call once, so it doesn't kind of there. I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, that's a good price, that's a nice product," and then sometimes they don't call back. I've had 2 or 3 people have called back a second time and I'm still interested. Would you go any lower? I said no. It's a pretty good price for the property, and that's about it. I've texted a few people back and forth, but that's where I'm at right now.
So you haven't had an offer, or?
I've had a couple. I mean, I've had 2 people. I told them 15. Oh, that's a good price. Let me see what I can do, and then no word from them again. The last one was probably about 2 weeks ago. Maybe a little longer than that. Maybe 3 weeks. My plan would be to, maybe in the next month or so, if nobody wants it, I can go get the permits and get everything to take it down myself.
Oh, no. Is that? What is, any thoughts, comments?
I mean, I'd have to get the asbestos survey done and then
Right.
a permit for the demolition itself.
Can we set a time frame?
Yeah.
Work within 30 days that have a valid offer or an accepted offer, otherwise, he needs to have it demolished within 60 days. So I think our law says something there about that, something like those guidelines.
Yeah.
Or something that's reasonable.
Well, whatever you guys think.
Yeah, you'd have to give,
Huh?
probably
No, I
60
know
days
that.
to get the asbestos thing done.
Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna tear it down without that.
Right, the asbestos
I would
survey
think-
itself may take a couple weeks to.
Yeah.
If not,
I would say, what about asbestos survey done within 30 days and then complete the demolition within 60 days? And if it's not done by then, we will do it.
Yeah.
And hold him liable for the cost.
Yeah. 60 days after receiving asbestos.
Right,
so
or
then
maybe
take it to.
maybe I could also like within the 30 days, if I don't got the offer, I can get in contact with you, say I'm getting the asbestos survey done, and then keep in contact with you throughout the process of getting everything, getting the survey done, getting the permit and getting that done. Because I know the last time I went to get the permit to work on it, it took me 4 months to get a hold of Scott. So I hate to be the reason that you take it down, it's because I can't get a hold of nobody, and then I come and the house is gone, and I could have done it for a quarter of the price myself.
Never here.
So that's a big part, because I live in Utica, so, and I emailed Scott because I was out of town. My wife had surgery, and I was sick for a couple weeks, so it was bad timing. Everything occurred about the time of thing for the meetings. I actually emailed Scott 3 different times and never got a word back on the next meeting, nothing. And when I got the certified letter for this meeting, I called up the marshal myself and said, I heard you're looking for me. Yeah, I got this paper. All right, come see me tomorrow morning and I'll take the paper. That's how I knew about this meeting. I didn't hear it from anybody else. So trying to get a hold of somebody is like trying to pull teeth. I mean, I got a wife and 3 kids and I work 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So I'm not in any way trying to ignore anybody or whatever, because like the last time you said go board up the windows, we went that weekend, I boarded all the windows up, I put the fence around, I did whatever I could at the time. So I'd say, I have no problem with 30 days, come back to the next meeting, inform what's going on, and then I can try to get if I don't have it sold, or something in the works, get the survey done. When that comes in, get a hold of somebody, and then, so that everybody's informed of every step of the way.
Yeah, the next meeting would be November 7th.
Okay.
It would be a week early.
Okay.
Because of the budget scheduling. But we can.
Yeah, and that's a Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a Thursday night.
Okay.
But if you want to write down your email address for me as well, or tell it to me, and I'll speak with Scott, but we'll make sure that we just keep in contact with him.
Okay, so that, like I said, it'd be a lot easier if I had somebody to just get a hold of.
My concern, and I'll express this to the board, because this is the board's decision. My concern is it's been for sale for quite a few months, and it hasn't moved.
Might be an option for him. And you.
I would be inclined to think that he should go forward now with the asbestos removal and at least get that and present that before the next meeting. Not the asbestos removal, the asbestos survey is what I mean.
You know what I'm talking about? No.
Or at least get, because I'm not at all optimistic that he's gonna have a buyer. It's been for sales now. We've been hearing that it's been for sale for quite a few months. But it's up to you guys.
I kind of like that recommendation.
Yeah.
Give them till November 7th to either sell it, and then at the same time getting the asbestos survey, so on November 7th, we'll know what's the situation is, and then we'll be able to establish a time frame for it to be demolished.
Do you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
And I would think you would want to require that he provide the board with the asbestos survey, because that would save you, if you end up having to tear it down, that you've already got the asbestos survey.
Yeah, I think we did.
Is that it? So by the next meeting, you'll have the asbestos survey, a copy of it for the board to look at.
Okay.
As well as in the meantime you sell it, but both will go along with each other. And if you wanna.
Yeah, and make sure you give Annie your email address so that way there's no miscommunication and delay in communication.
Okay. You got a paper right there?
Yep.
It's JACCS.
JACCS.
52018 @gmail.
52018
Yep.
at Gmail?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now,
JACTS.
you won't be served with another notice of the hearing. The hearing is scheduled, November 7th.
Yes.
The continuation of the hearing is scheduled, November 7th, 7 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
I'll make the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we'll continue with our regular monthly meeting. Any questions, concerns with last month's minutes? Any corrections?
Missy, did you get my corrections?
Yeah. Motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of bills?
Alright, highway fund, I have $32,215.51. General fund was $6,206.10, with a total of $38,421.61.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Missy? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve the bill, subject to audit.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Supervisor's report. In the general fund, we have a balance of $1,591,604.29. In the highway fund, we have $499,472.41. In our cap reserves, we have $95,685.33. In reserve machinery, $120,000. The fire protection district, we have $714.25. Street lighting district, $8,769.27. And trust and agency is $0. For a total of all funds, $2,316,245.55. Any questions? Motion to accept?
Make motion to accept the supervisor's report.
In a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our highway superintendent's report, please.
Okay, luckily I've still been getting to work on FEMA stuff. We did appeal for the Hillside Road Bridge again. It's not looking super favorable, but you never know, I guess. It could always land in front of the right person and they might approve it. We're committed for White's Culvert there on Tannery. We haven't gotten anything back from them yet, but it's been signed on. So that's another project that's gonna be probably starting up this coming year. As soon as you think like you're caught up on it, it'll like just puke something else right in your lap that all of a sudden you got a mad dash to get something going on. Everything sold on auction. It's international there. The only thing that we still have in our possessions is a Freightliner truck. They showed up to get it and it didn't fit. It was going to Long Island and spent 2.5 hours in the pouring rain trying to get it loaded, and only the front plow and the wing won't fit. They have to come back for it. So that was awesome. And there was just a little over 34,000 is what everything brought up, which is kind of about what we were expecting.
On everything?
Yeah. And then, there could, I don't know exactly what there could be some small fees from them on, they took the pictures and listed it for us, all that, but. So the CHIPS, county mowing and ditching, all that's turned in, should be receiving payment either later this month, well, in November, or CHIPS comes in December. The 40 hours of ditching was completed for the county. Mowing's all been completed for the year. They did a real nice job with it. We've had a lot of compliments. We had kind of a big push trying to get the shoulders straightened up. We had a lot of washes on a lot of most roads, if it's a hill, there was a wash on it. Gillette, Longshore, Carmichael, Mesler, Tannery, Oatman, Quaker, Wilson. We've done work on all of them, trying to get them, they anywhere from, we did it by how bad they were, whether they needed it. Some still need it, but just ran out of time, I guess we should say. We've tried hot mix asphalt, boxing out. That's kind of expensive, but it probably worked. We got something from the county they gave us 3 loads of. It's like a cold mix. They got a different name for it. We've run millings, cold patch, combination of milling and cold patch, see what lasts the best for the winter, and then try to fix the rest of them this coming year on it. And that's about it. We're starting to get switched over to snow removal now. Short season.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
For correspondence, the annual training, 2025 training, February 16th through the 19th in New York City. They sent a flyer out on it if anyone's interested in going. Nida County is going to deliver our voting machines on October 28th. Just for anybody. We received our annual dog control officer inspection report. It was completed on September 10th, 2024, and it was satisfactory. There were no issues or concerns for that. And that's all the correspondence I had. Larry, for the FOIL request?
Yeah, the town clerk received, or spent 3 hours on FOIL requests for the past month for an estimated cost of around $75.
Thank you. Joe from Tuckdale.
Thank you. Not many announcements this month. The first of which is the annual fall dinner meeting, October 24th, which is happening in your neighborhood at Woods Valley. Cash bar and social hour at 5:30, buffet dinner, yearly summer no-cow activities, and followed by Steve Smith, Executive Director of the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, will be the speaker. Cost is $30 per person. Reservations are requested by this Friday, October 18th, if you'd like to go. If something happens and you can't make that, but you do have somebody who wants to go, call me or John Hilt, and we'll try and make that happen. Last year it was well received. The food was good, the venue was good, and I guess they've made some attempts to improve the lighting, which was not quite adequate last year, I'm told. New York's round 9 of the Restore New York Communities Initiative grant program has been launched. The governor's office announced that Restore New York program, and it's accepting letters of intent. The funding supports municipalities' efforts to demolish, rehabilitate, and restore blighted structures and transform them into vibrant residential, commercial, and mixed-use developments. The goal of Restore New York is to help municipalities attract residents and businesses by redeveloping residential, commercial, and mixed-use properties. Each project should align with the strategic plan of the community's Regional Economic Development Council, and projects should be either architecturally consistent with nearby properties or the municipality's local revitalization of urban developmental plan. An intent to apply for this form must be received by Wednesday, October 23rd, and there's a link there that you can access for that purpose. And the last thing I have is, and this is just information only, New York State DEC is asking participants for a winter rock salt online survey. DEC is encouraging the general public to consider an online survey aimed at helping environmentalists better understand how the overuse of rock salt can potentially impact the environment and health of New Yorkers. Touchy subject, but the survey launched recently is helping fulfill one of the task force report's recommendations to develop a public education and outreach campaign that encourages New Yorkers to manage rock salt use effectively and safely. And the details of becoming part of that survey are provided in your announcements, and that's all I have this evening.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Christina, for the library.
Well, the library's had a really busy month. I know Last time I was here, I talked about our upcoming takeout and Mohawk Valley Gives, so we've had a lot going on. Our director did submit her resignation, so I think it's been 8 or 9 years she's been a director, so that's a big change. The Mohawk Valley Gives campaign that was a couple weeks ago now, I just want to thank the community for incredible support. We put in a lot of work for fundraising, and this year, due to scheduling conflicts and other issues, we weren't able to host some of our annual takeout dinners. And the community just rallied and donated and shared through the Mohawk Valley Gives campaign, and we were able to fill out the budget gap. So that was really wonderful, and I just want to extend a huge thank you to everyone for their support. We just held our last takeout dinner of the year, so that's all set. We're rolling into programming coming up. We have Rita's quilt class starting on Thursday. She does absolutely beautiful work, and I do believe we have some spots available if anyone still wants to register. For our construction grant, we did file the paperwork, so we should be receiving a check from the state. I'm not sure at what point, but everything on our end has been filed, so the wheels are turning and the check should be coming in soon. I think other than that, we're just we're planning on a concert in December. We're figuring out our programming going forward.
Thank you. Okay, under our old business is library, and Larry and Len, if you want to talk about it, we need to discuss a bid for the lower level construction.
Well, we're gonna advertise it, soliciting bids. We reviewed the project, the board reviewed it, and then recently Christina and Larry and I went over it again, and so we're ready to advertise and seek bidders.
Okay. So do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, we'll need to make a motion, and what our plan is to, we'll make the motion for tonight and open the bids in the December meeting. That way it gives potential contractors the time to get the bid packets, see what the scope of the project is, formulate their bids, and then we'd open it in the December meeting.
Okay.
Melissa, you just need to advertise that. And Len's got the prints and the scope of work documentation. And like Len mentioned, Christina himself and I sat down and we did an addendum to clearly identify what's in scope for the project and what to bid on and so forth.
I'll leave that with you.
So we need a motion to.
Do you want to make that motion? Because I'm on the library board.
Oh,
okay. Then we'll make the motion.
Oh.
Council
I'll make a motion to put the library basement project out to bid.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just as an additional thing, I just thought of that the grant that the library receives is going to cover 75% of the cost. So, up to the dollar threshold. So it's a good grant that they received.
Okay, is there any other old business?
The painting project, we could advertise that, the same specs that we used on the last time it was painted.
Like the same time frame, open in December?
So we paint next
I was
summer.
gonna say, when are they
Yeah.
gonna paint?
Not
Well,
this year.
obviously. Maybe Indian summer will last 2 months, I don't know. Yeah, they get the word out and then done as can be done. They can bid on it now. Or if they don't, we'll put it out to bid again this spring, but I don't think that's unusual to have something in advance.
Anything else? For old business? Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
And a second to put out the bid for the painting?
And we'll open it in the December meeting also.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other old business? Okay, moving on to new business. The first order of new business tonight is our budget. The tax increase on the budget is 1.2%. Basically tonight is for the board to address any concerns or have any questions, and then we'll set up. It's always the Thursday after Election Day for the public hearing on the budget. The budget was completed and submitted online on the website by the date of September 30th. That's the date that it must be on site and open to, available to the public. So we met that date. So at this point, any questions, concerns, comments on the budget from the board?
Just a couple additional facts for the public. One issue that we had this year was the taxable value of the town dropped slightly. Usually the taxable value of the town increases with new construction and stuff like that because of a number of properties being grieved, lowering their assessment. So the actual value of the town decreased, which makes it harder than putting together a budget because you have a smaller pot to pull from. However, some additional facts. The general fund, the amount we raised on taxes stayed flat at $103,000. For the highway department, we only increased the amount we're collecting on tax by $2,000. So that was very, very good. I just want to make the comment that, you know, Annie putting together this budget did an excellent job in this high inflation time that we've been experiencing the last 3 years. To have a town budget where we're moving forward of an increase of only 1.2%, I think is amazing. Just to put it in a little bit of perspective, if you have a house that's assessed at $200,000, basically your town tax is going to go up $6 for the year. That's basically the price of a coffee at Starbucks and stuff like that. So I do want to comment also, there's been some misinformation being published around, especially on various websites and so forth, that in reality, New York state law says that the financial officer, which is Annie, needs to submit the tentative budget to the board prior to September 30th. She actually did that a few days before that, and in reality, the budget does not have to be made available to the public until October 5th. The budget was placed out on the website on September 30th at 8:03 in the morning, so we beat the deadline that is required by more than 5 days. So when you're hearing that the town board is sneaking through a budget, that is totally false. If you're hearing that we're not being transparent, in my opinion, that is totally false, because we exceeded the deadlines outlined by New York State in these regards. I just wanted to clarify those few points, if anybody else had anything else to add and so forth. Oh, another thing I heard rumors about is that, as you know, Charlie is retiring at the end of the year, and he's looking for lawyers to replace. We do not have a salary for that lawyer yet, but in the budget that was put together, we did increase the salary because we don't know what it's going to be. It's better to adopt a budget where we have enough money to cover the attorney's salary instead of having to do adjustments later. So I think that was another wise choice that Annie did when she was putting this budget together.
Any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
I would just like to mention the state cap that we can't exceed. Right. Percentage is 2%. 2%. So we're well under that. And given everything goes up, there's a lot of expenses we have no control over, insurance, things like that.
Insurance, yeah. That health insurance.
And so to be able to go under that cap is not easy, and it took a lot of good work to make it happen. Thank you, Annie.
Well, thank you to you guys as well, Larry. Anything else with the budget? And like I said, we'll be posting the public hearing for it for next month. Okay.
One thing, what we gotta do is, this is the tentative budget. If the board has no changes, then we have to move this budget forward by motion, and then it becomes the preliminary budget. And at which time then, in the next couple of weeks, the town clerk needs to put a notice in the paper saying when our public hearing is, which will be November 7th at 6:30. And you also have to list the salaries of elected officials. And then, as everybody knows, that at the time of our public hearing and the voting of the budget on November 7th, you can't raise an elected official's salary. You can only keep it as published, or you can decrease it.
And as far as salaries went, we did an adjustment to the superintendent's salary. Highway superintendent salary, to make it more comparable to what the job entitles and is deserving of. So do we do a motion?
Yeah, I think we should do a motion.
Okay.
So I'll make that motion that we don't have, I don't see any changes needed to the tentative budget, and I move that we turn this into the preliminary budget, and this will be the budget version that we'll have the public hearing on.
Okay. A second?
I'll second.
I just got one quick.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So you're making this into the preliminary, and then they have the public hearing on that, and then if there's something comes up, then you can change it at that time?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. After their public hearing, then
If they-
the town board can make any changes to the budget. The only thing you cannot change is you can't increase any elected official salary once it's published in the paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, any other changes you can make. Yeah. Except we can't go above the cap of 2%.
Right, but if the public comes with certain concerns, then you can adjust.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
definitely. Yep. Yeah, the public hearing is the opportunity for the public to voice their concerns or, you know, whatever they want to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, all in favor?
And those concerns could be either. It could be,
They want
you know,
more or less.
you know, that more should be in the budget for a certain item, or less should be in the budget for a certain item.
Yeah. Or moving funds from one to the other
Right.
because you don't, like you're saying, you don't want to spend that much for this, but you need more money for that and so forth.
So, all in favor? Next, we have to sign our annual snow and ice contract with Oneida County. And Oneida County is doing the snow and ice as they did with the mowing. They are doing it for 2 years when we sign, so we'll be signing for this winter and next winter. And for payment, for providing the work the first term, the county will pay the municipality $6,800.00 per mile of road, so $6,800 per mile of road for a total of 16.52 miles, totaling $112,336. In second term, they're going to pay $6,900 per mile of road for the same total of road, 16.52, for a total of $113,988. And they make these payments in 2 equal payments of that money. So tonight, Preston and I'll sign it. This contract, only Preston and I have to sign it. But we're gonna do it tonight. Any questions on it? Thoughts? I mean, we don't really get a say in what they do.
No, but you still have to pass a resolution to
Okay, pass the list.
authorize you and Preston to sign the contract.
Okay.
I'll I'll make that motion. To authorize you to sign that contract.
Is it for 2 years?
2 years.
So,
Yeah.
25, 26.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next. Back in 2021, when the tornado and flooding occurred, there had been a separate sub-account to track that money because certain things had to be paid out of that money. And tonight we would like a motion, after speaking with Preston, to establish that account again so that better able to track the FEMA monies and that with it. So it was under DA 5140.4, and we'd like to reestablish the DA 514.42 for those monies. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any thoughts, concerns from anybody?
I think it's a good idea, make it easier for Preston to track
Right.
the expenditures, so that way if we, if the state needs confirmation, it'll be easy for them to track it.
That's what it is. So can I have a motion to do that? Establish that account.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to create the sub-account DA 5140.42 labeled flood damage.
Okay.
I just want to add something too. You said the state, but I have to show FEMA that we use the money for what it's supposed to be used for. And this way, it's just a lot easier that here it is. It's not hidden in another account that's for road work.
I misspoke.
Nope.
After I said that, I think it's federal.
Okay. A second?
I'll second.
And all in favor? Did you have a question?
No, I know what you're doing.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the next is transferring the money. The first motion we need to do is to move $20,000 from unexpended balance revenue to that account we just established. To put the money into that account. Any, pardon?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, moving $20,000 from unexpended balance revenue to the new sub-account of 5140.42.
Thank you.
And
DA unexpended balance.
DA, yeah, DA unexpended balance.
I'll make that motion.
In a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then the next motion is to take $9,200 out of that account and put it back into the DA 514.4, right?
Yes.
Flipping that back over there so that the monies are in now where they should have been, or paid, that money was paid out of the account it should have been paid out of. So a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is in doing some of the updates around here. Our internet service is not holding up under everything, so we've been looking at, we had somebody come in and review from Top Tier Technology and walk us through it. And Larry, if you don't mind explaining, Larry went with them through it.
Yeah, the gentleman from Top Tier, he looked over our situation and so forth, and he pointed out, which we all knew, that when the equipment was installed, it's sitting on top of the ductwork downstairs. This is an old building, so the floors are very thick, so it degrades the signal that you have access up here and so forth. And also, Annie looked at going back to Northland instead of Spectrum because they are more reliable and so forth. So,
And a little cheaper.
yeah, a little cheaper too. So he came up with some, like a listing. He also reached out to Northland to get additional information, which was very helpful because he talks their language and so forth. So he assessed our situation, what we would need and so forth. And he came up with a quote as to what new equipment we would need. And then he also came up with a quote for his labor to work with Northland when they're switching over from Spectrum to Northland to also to install the equipment. And he's gonna have a couple of Wi-Fi nodes so that way the reception up here will be a lot better. So his quote, like for the equipment, came to $828.95. I thought his recommendations were very solid, very reputable guy and so forth. So I think, we should move forward with this.
The only thing I have is you have to remember the court has to be on a separate.
That's gonna,
Yeah.
yes,
I don't-
Gonna
They
stay
can't
the way
touch
it
that.
is.
right, that's gonna be with Northland, that's gonna stay separate,
Yeah.
so.
No, I just
Yeah,
didn't know,
no.
we knew.
He looked it all over. So. Any other questions from the board or comments?
Larry, I have a simple question if I can. The signal seems to have degraded in the last few months. Is this just something recent that's happened, or my wife? I'm just noticing it now.
I've noticed it too, when I was practicing or testing the equipment for recording the meetings, it was very finicky and so forth. So it could be a combination of things, especially like, sitting in the basement, like I said, going through thick wood and stuff like that. It's over in that corner, so if you're in this room, you got walls down in the basement, you got stone walls and stuff like that. That's why him adding a couple of hot spots will make
So
it.
you're gonna move it upstairs?
Yeah, he's gonna put the equipment upstairs, so get it out of the basement, so it won't be so damp and so forth. And also, if it needs to be worked on, it's gonna be right here. And then also, like I said, 2 hot spots, so the reception will be really good.
Then you're gonna switch back to Northland at the same time.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing. Because Northland, I think, Andy, you said it was just a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, than what we were paying. It's in Northland.
Plus, it's a local company. too.
Right, yeah.
And I know people that have Northland, their Wi-Fi. Mine never goes out, so.
Any other questions? Thoughts?
I would recommend us moving forward, and I think we'll need several motions on this, so. I'd like to make a motion to authorize Annie to switch from Spectrum to Northland and to work with Northland in doing that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's first.
And then, I'd like to make a motion for the equipment to go with Top Tier's recommendation. He scoped it out at $828.95. Those prices, he said, are solid. However, I think we should give a little wiggle room in case by the time you purchase this or he purchases it for you, that if it goes up a little bit, we don't have to come back. So I would make a motion to give you an allowance of $980 for the purchasing of the needed equipment for this.
A second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then the third motion is to hire Top Tier to work with Northland in installing the new phone system and the Wi-Fi stuff, installing the equipment, and also doing the 2 runs for the drop, the Wi-Fi drops, and so forth. And he had a price of, for his labor, it's at a rate of $125, 2 hours for that. The 2 lines, which also includes, some of the necessary hardware and so forth running that. It was $508, which is a good price for this. I think we probably should authorize Andy to some additional funds in case when they're doing this, if it runs into an extra hour or two, we don't have to come back. So the quote is $508, maybe $800.
Yeah.
Not to exceed
Not to
$800.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?
You mentioned something about the laptop for the tax collector?
Yeah, but I'm not, this,
I'm
this
sorry.
we're done.
I apologize.
Because, Northland, their installation, they're waiving the fee. And their monthly recurring charges for for what we're installing will be $173.99 at this rate today, but thereabouts. The last piece of new business I have is tonight I received a quick email from our tax collector who says that she needs a new laptop for the coming tax season and wondered if we could discuss that and do that tonight. She just needs a plain basic, well, she called it just a plain Jane basic computer for what she does. So I'm thinking like $800 if we authorize not to exceed that, or basically.
Does she have one now?
She must have, but I don't know if she was using her own or.
I don't know.
I didn't get a hold of her before.
Yeah, she's using her own.
And it was a bigger, older looking one. So, any thoughts, discussion?
Can she get one like that, Larry?
Yeah, you can get one, Jane, yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at them for
Yeah, they're
like
from
$700
$400 to $800,
Yeah.
depending on what you
Yeah.
get and so forth. And since she needs it, it would be good if you gave approval tonight, because she's gonna need it for January
Right,
first.
to get it
So
ready.
she's gotta get the software loaded and get used to it at least a few weeks before that, so.
So authorize up to 800, a motion to
Yeah, I'll make
authorize.
that motion.
And a second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
And that's all the business I have tonight. Does anybody have anything else? Motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
and a second,
I'll-
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
I just borrowed it.
That's right. Ron's at the end of the year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I might take it permanently on.
That's right.
I think it's more accurately described as
This is
redeveloping,
to attract residents.
redeveloping residential, commercial, and mixed-use property.
So it's for redeveloping residential, commercial, and mixed-use properties. Can I take a picture of that? Or is this right on your Tug Hill website?
Oh, it's on the website. You go to the website and get it.
Let me just see. But Wednesday, October 23rd, like that's coming right up. Restore New York. Let me put that in there.
So did you, because now I have.
So Restore New York
Yeah, I know,
is
but
the
it's-
grant. Is it a grant?
Yes. Community Initiative Grant Program.
Redeveloping residential, commercial, and mixed-use properties.
Because now I have, now I print out a copy of the.
Empire State Development is some
And mixed use properties. Empire State Development. Okay, thank you so much. So, but first of all, they won't listen to you if they don't care.
Part of the procedure is they're supposed to announce receipt of the petition, which they got in their mailbox on Thursday. It was sent certified mail from the post office. I watched the lady move and put it in the post office box. I sent them 2 copies. One was certified, one was not. And I sent one to Anna, I sent one to Mr. Donahue, and I sent one to Mr. Engelberg. Mr. Engelberg refused to fill those.
Really?
And,
oh, you know why?
Yeah, and
he only deals with the town board.
Right, and now, of course, this one doesn't return phone calls.
No, you talked to the zoning, or you emailed the zoning codes enforcement officer? You didn't know.
I actually got very upset with me because I didn't address it to the board, because it's a board issue. It's not a ZBA issue.
Right. So listen, they're going to, in order for them to change that, they have to change the law.
Right here.
Oh, I know. They will. They'll have to change the law. So, will they do that?
If you read the note, they changed the law back in 2009 whimsically, and they didn't write it down. They didn't change the map.
And that is arbitrary and capricious.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what they're all about here. I've been following these guys, you know, for 2 years, and that is their.
You've only been following them for 2 years,
and it's.
I don't know if I brought it.
Historical Society. So it's
love this one.
And it's a great.
This is from 2009.
If you leave
Back
it,
when Bob Hope was the
you can be blasé about the
he was just
play
basically flying around town,
it's amateur.
applying rules anywhere he saw fit, and then he got caught. And Marquette
Focuses on the Grange Hall.
well, I think went through the CBA, and effectively the court said that their old zoning law was unenforceable. They said,
Can I get a picture of this? It's up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I should be able to foil this, right? I mean, the town should have it. So it's not private information. It's
And they provided a venue.
zoning law.
They had talent shows, they had
It was social.
Christmas play.
And
This is I've been talking to
and how do you find Carl? I mean, is he receptive?
He's quite reasonable, but he got very upset with me.
You don't have the
Because apparently I didn't participate in his 3-year-long process stuff.
It's not because
And now he's just
they
being
don't want to.
grumpy. I have a long email chain with him. I wasn't very kind either because I was very, very upset in the first place.
Yeah. Well,
Because again, they have no,
That's not the.
they don't maintain a continuity.
I mean, I tried to talk to my
Larry,
kids.
the last time I said
be careful what you say, because we're on here. Okay, I just want to make sure you know.
not to speak for your
Not waiting until they get.
including Mr.
They're
Mark.
all decision making.
Well, no, I understand that, but
Who maintains the continuity folder for the changes that they make to the different laws?
There's none.
Well, specifically, it's the zoning law, and she said, "Oh, we've never
they
changed
don't
it."
have that.
I said, "Mary, I've been at meetings where you've changed that, where you whimsically adopted New York state law because they don't compare."
Yeah, that doesn't matter to them.
And where you have changed the zoning for different
Anytime soon.
places. Even though the people at the previous meeting asked me not to, he went to the next meeting to change their name. And then you update the map, which is why we end up in this situation where they just arbitrarily include me in it. So now my 12 acres, you know.
Let me say something, because this is coming at me full force, and what you're saying makes everything, what makes everything that's happening right now make sense, and that is this. I foiled for every bit of information I could possibly get.
The FOIL requests were on the agenda. They didn't.
Yeah, it's just, no, they don't cover it. They just say, we got 3, and it's costing the townspeople $90. That's it.
Yeah, they did?
Yeah. So I asked for everything.
Now, I have to say this before I miss it. I will say the new town clerk has been very proud of the website. More current information.
She's not doing it.
Oh,
Larry Merrick.
Oh, whoever's doing it, it's much more informative, much more accurate.
It wasn't.
Current.
It wasn't.
And I was really,
but they are doing it now.
Yeah. So my motivation was
that's very, very nice.
Minutes to go back to?
Yeah, well, for some. But, previously Scott didn't have a document because the zoning laws was and they wouldn't let him enforce building code.
Right.
Because they didn't recognize
That's
I told them several times, Section 1203 of state law, minimum standards for building codes. You have to do this. And that was what they adopted, part of it, into their zoning law, and then never updated it.
Right.
You know, and apparently, and again, I just the planning board accepted the codes enforcement, the building codes enforcement law that I had provided them from the state site. Because I talked to girls 2 years ago, and they said, "Yeah, we're updating the zoning law." And they were so tired about the difference between zoning enforcement and building code enforcement. Now we have a whole other procedure to go through for zoning permits and building permits.
And that commercial overlay thing.
Commercial overlay is just a backdoor for the town.
It is. So what I found is my foil to the town to give me everything that Scott Bush does.
So in that respect,
came back with nothing. And that's why. Because they don't want to put him on the hot seat because there was no viable zoning ordinance.
Right, but now he has his own ordinance, which again is probably not enforceable because I don't know. I haven't read it. I've printed my own copy of it, but I don't know that it's got any better issues than the other one does.
Well, it's still arbitrary and capricious in many formats.
Well, again, if you've got the business zone overlay, yes, it overrides all the rest. Why'd you bother to write the rest of it?
Well, you know, they were going to just put the commercial overlay in certain areas along 46 and Stokes Westernville Road. And we complained because those were only the people that are on the board that own that land. So they said, well, then we'll just put it through the whole town. And that's what they did.
Okay. So now,
submission to the DOS or to the Oneida County. The individual would tell me
it was just procedural. There was nothing there. No, none at all.
I don't have the problem. I'm not suggesting I'm part of that.
No, I know.
I can see how people get frustrated.
I haven't been here since 2009 because my head already hurts just for looking at this meeting.
Let me put this down.
I do this because I genuinely like to go to these different townships. I enjoy subdivision and I enjoy Ava and Remsen and Remsen Village and also Coach. So I get a sense of community involvement. And if I can help somebody out, give me a certificate of establishing a business or do a safety inspection on a house. I feel good.
Well, it takes like 4 days for it to go.
I don't feel good if someone screams at me and says, "You're going to follow the code," and at which point I have to say, you know, I do care about officials, but this is my job, and we can agree and disagree, or you can say what you want to me, and I'm not going to retaliate in any way, shape, or form. For one of the contractors, I'm kidding. This is probably the last time. I don't think I enjoy this at all. I should let me in.
You good children?
Yeah.
Nerve-wracking.
Gates
You
and
don't
all.
have to lose this stuff.
How do you feel? They read in the paper. So Dave, 7,000 guy. Not up to date now. How do you think that?
I think if you wait until spring, they're booked.
Yeah.
Right,
So at least you're on your schedule.
Last time I was here,
They will.
I'm working anymore. I don't care.
You know, a price increase.
I've been beat up, shot at. Don't care.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Thanks. Take
Have a
care. Nice
good
talking
one.
to you.
See you next week.
Yep.
Based on pricing.
Yeah. Thanks for your help.
Right.
You're welcome.
And then you're on schedule. Like if you're on the schedule, not too easy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, for when the weather changes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or whatever, January's off.
Well, yeah, but it's good for contractors to scope out what they're gonna be working on in the spring, maybe.
Because you're only gonna get a couple, right? I mean, you're gonna get.
It's hard getting bids. Our stuff has had a real hard time.
Like winter things,
so I have to.
there's only a couple real commercial.
What I'll do
You know what I mean?
Right.
That,
In the next day
got
or two,
insurance and
he
stuff.
comes down to my schedule,
There's a lot
I'll
of
get
guys
it
that'll
tomorrow,
call
but
the paint.
I'll get you a copy of the preliminary budget. And that'll be the one that.
And we know as good as anybody.
I just got this drug.
Should I start breaking down the tablets?
Put these out before I go to the doctor. Because you got a test for cleaning before you go to the doctor.
Do you really?
Donald.
There is no test for RSV.
What's that? If you tell me anything, I can tell you, or any deputy, they make you tell.
Yeah, you're coming into your not doing well and stuff.
You were already-
These are doctors.
How old deep in yours, you didn't even offer me.
I went to the fire department with my wife.
You didn't even like. Good, Saturday? I'm on my way back from work and I stopped to get a drink and,
Hey, Dave, I see you all the time doing work, working your tail off.
Well, you know, you gotta
It's
keep
awesome.
You gotta keep ahead of the.
I'm telling you, it's like I thought I was a busy guy, and then I just see your truck like going all over. I appreciate everything you do out there because it makes a difference in the community. It really does. You,
Well, you know, if you keep busy, you won't get in trouble.
yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Oh, are you Mr. Alston? Oh, we don't have politicians that Well, I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, you should look at your procedures. That'd be a great idea.
You have discussed that ad
Everything going okay?
Yes.
How did you make out with that increase that they wanted to do? Do you know if that's coming through or for all the safety and OSHA? Don't know. It's.
You have to give us time.
But you were supposed to announce receipt of it, ma'am. Yeah. That is the way it is.
I stopped coming in 2009 because of like this thing.
No, you gotta keep coming. You gotta
It's
get more
pointless.
people to come.
Well, he's gonna publish it.
No, I can't. I get to lock.
And spend our money
I got them dropped down, but they don't stay.
to sue them so that I could make them change it back. And they're not gonna change it. She just told me, we're not gonna change it back. Even though they can whimsically change it back in August for the people.
She was pretty rude to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
amazing.
just,
No, it's not. It's normal.
That is rude.
because they always knew they
I've
wanted
never
one there.
heard
They
a town
changed Palisades
supervisor
back
talk
in
to a person
2009.
that has given
That's
information.
normal, isn't it? I mean,
That's just, that's how
And
they
he
go.
got sued.
isn't that normal protocol?
I mean, it is. It is for these folks, but
You got the minutes?
Lots of fun stuff back
she
then.
was just plain rude to you.
Yes, she was.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what?
Yes, she told me to my face, we're not gonna change it.
Because she's the supervisor. She can make that policy and that rule.
I got
You know
it.
that.
I got it. Go.
Oh, no, they didn't know.
I got it. I got it.
She
Go.
can. I'm being facetious.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
they have the authority to do whatever they want.
As a town.
You can't just draw a new line. That's
Exactly.
what that's what Carl said. Oh, well, we just drew a section
Oh
down.
well.
You're in it.
Sulfuric?
Yeah, isn't that something?
It's lovely.
I'm gonna scoot down this way.
Yep. Oh, it's fine. I'm just trying to get out of my way. Ow.
So, this was a pretty,
or town board
in,
members.
in that budget process.
Oh, she can,
Take pictures of it and send it to Donald.
That's good. Well, then why in the last 15 years have